Hello everyone, welcome to this video where I'm going to show you how to copy data incrementally from an on-premises SQL server to an Azure SQL using ADF. Before I jump into the demo, I wanted to just give some concept. So what you will need for this is one self-hosted integration runtime. That is the integration runtime that will you have to install it on your network, on your on-premises network, on any machine. It could be on the SQL server you have or any other machine which can access the SQL server you're trying to copy. So I will not be covering how to install that. There are a lot of documents how to install self-hosted integration runtime, and if you still need help with that, just post in comments and I will create a video or help you out. I can show you how we can do it. I've installed that self-hosted integration runtime on my laptop because that's the machine I'm using. So this is the self-hosted integration runtime. Let me open and just show you that. Okay, right, so this is the integration runtime that is running and that I downloaded from Azure website and then install it on my laptop. Then the other concept I wanted to talk about was the watermark table. This is a table that will store the date, date when the data was last copied. And what we do is we have modified date in our table. So we compare the data date with this date with the modified date in our table and copy all the data. And then the watermark table is updated with the new value so that we know what all we have copied. So this is how the whole process will work using the watermark table. The other concept I wanted to discuss, I will show you this practically so that will make more sense how it works. Then other thing I wanted to show was the upsert. So we will use the upsert in the copy data activity of ADF, which basically means it's update or an insert. So if the row already exists in the data in the destination, then it will update that row, and if the row doesn't exist, it will insert. So that's why it's called an upsert, update or an insert based on the primary key of the table. So you will need all your tables which you're trying to incrementally load to have primary keys and a modified date columns. So let me jump in and show you the data that I have. So this is, let's see quickly, this is my on-premises database. So this is my, I'm on my laptop which I'm connected. So these are the three tables which we are going to work today with. And the first, okay, let's have a look at the data. Right, so this is the data we have. The first one has 28 rows, I believe, and then 23, and then 43 and 8 rows. So in this, if you look at that, the modified date is today's, when I'm recording, the maximum modified date is today's date, which I'm recording the video on the 4th of May, and so that's the date. So each table has a modified date and a ID column. And let me jump on to the destination server where I have the watermark table. So this is the watermark table. Let me show you. This is the watermark table. This has a row for each of the tables that I'm going to incrementally copy, and the watermark value. This is the value till which we have copied the data, and for the first time you have to keep it really old so that you can copy all the data between this date and the maximum of your modified date from here, right? So between those two dates, so in this case it will be all the data between, you want all the data between 1st of 24th of January till the 5th of May, right? So that's how we want. So we need to get that. So this is the watermark table, and I had updated it some time back to, you know, really 100 days back so that I could copy everything. So right now it shows you 24th of January. So let's what we will do is we'll do this for one table first, and then I will show you how to use a metadata pipeline so that we can do it for all the tables dynamically. So let's start. So let's go jump into ADF. This is my ADF already there. So let's create a new pipeline in this folder. I'll create it in this folder. So this, let's call it pipeline incremental load, right? So let's do that. So now the first thing we want to do is get the current. So what we want is the data that we have copied, so which we will call the old watermark. So from the watermark table, which is this R table, we want to get this value, this date, right? So that is the old watermark, the data which has been the data which we have copied till now. So this is the old watermark, we'll call it. So let's go here, let's do an lookup activity, right? This will get us the old watermark, so we'll call it old WM, right? Okay, and this we need to connect. Okay, so we'll create a new data set. So this is my watermark table is on Azure SQL, so we'll just say Azure SQL database, right? So continue, and we will call it ds underscore on-prem, not Azure SQL watermark. Okay, let's call it that. Okay, so I had created the link services already, so I already have the link service to Azure DB, and the table name is watermark. So let's select that. Okay, and let's click OK. Right, now what we want to do is I will write the query. So we'll say select star from watermark table. So we are just doing for authors table first, so we'll say where table name equals, oops, I got my where wrong, I think so, where table name equals authors, sorry, okay, saying table name column. Okay, that's it. So let's just quickly cross check if I got my query right. So yeah, so select star. Okay, so we'll have watermark table, right? So that's all it is. So let's go back here. Okay, so that's fine, and so we can, that's, so this is getting the old watermark, the data till what we have already copied. Now we want to get, next thing we want to do is we want to get from the source, which is here, the for authors, right? So what we want is the modified date is maximum modified date, right? So in this R case, this should be this 4th of, sorry, 5th of May. So how we can get this, like if I say select max or max modified date from authors, right? So that's all I want. So if I do this, we get the max modified date. So we want to call, this is our new watermark, this is the value till which we want to copy, right? So we'll just use this, we'll just copy this, and we can use this in the lookup. So sorry, I got done the control Z, control C. So let's go back to data factory, right? And let's do another lookup activity. All right, so this is for the new watermark. Okay, and in settings, let's create a new data set. So this will be to SQL Server, right? So on my on-premises database, so we'll do that, and we'll just call it data set on-prem authors, right? Okay, so sorry, authors, right? And the link services, right? This is click OK. So I need to select the table name here. It'll take some time to load. Okay, so it's loaded now. Let's get the authors table. TBO, right, where is it? Authors, that's it. Just click OK, right? Yeah, okay, sorry. So yeah, one thing I needed to change was this old watermark. We need to name them. That's very important. And the same way here, this is very important to have this new watermark. So now what we will do is we'll debug this much part and see what values we are getting. Okay. Okay, that's completed now. It's run. So let's have a look at the values. So this is the new water. So let's look at the old watermark. So this is the we wanted from the 24th of Jan. So right, so it's 24th of Jan. So that's the old watermark. And if you look at this output, this is the 5th of May. So that's all we want. Now what we want to do is we want to copy the data between these two dates, right? So what we will do is now we will use this value in the copy data activity. So to copy data, so let's go create a copy data activity. Okay, all right, so let's say copy, we'll call it copy authors, right? And go to the source. In the source we can use the existing data set because we already have connection to the on-premises, so we'll use the on-prem Azure one, sorry, on-prem authors, right? So let's go on-prem authors, right? This is the one, right? Okay, we'll use this. And now we need to write query. So now we want to basically get data from this authors table between the old watermark and new. So what we'll do is we'll click here, add dynamic content, and we'll go in here, we'll say select star from authors where a modified date between, right? So we need to be careful. We need to do a single quotes, right? And we say here in, oh, so I didn't connect one thing, I missed one thing, so we need to connect that so we can use these values here. So let me quickly click OK. It will give an error, but let's anyway leave it at that, and we'll just need to connect that so that we can use these values. I forgot to do that. So let's go back to the copy data activity and let's add the dynamic content, continue doing that. So what we want is between the old watermark, so right, say, so we'll say old watermark dot, this one is dot old wm, right? So we need to move this from here. Okay, so at, okay, you need to give this curly braces that you have to give, otherwise it will not work, right? And again single quotes, and now we'll use the new watermark first row, right? So this is what we will use, and we'll say at activity watermark first row dot, and this is the new wm, right? So that's what it is. So that's all we need to do here. Okay, okay, so there is no closing braces, I didn't do this, right? And the single quotes, right? Let's quickly say why it is giving me an error. Right, between, I close this and it looks okay to me, right? Click OK. Let's see, let's click OK. I had done it earlier, so I have another pipeline. We'll just quickly see why it is giving this error. So let's do that. Okay, this is my source. Let's quickly, where, okay, the codes go before the at, and it looks similar. Let's anyway copy this and see what is difference wrong we are doing here. So let's go back here, cancel, click OK here, let's go here. Okay, and let's see, let's paste it here and see what we're wrong we're doing. Okay, so it says old, what, that's the activity name, that's not fit. Oh, okay, so output first row old, yeah, and okay, this is fine. Yeah, okay, too many quotes. I put one quote extra here, that's why it's giving me an error. So let's remove this, delete this. Right, so this is looks fine. Click OK. Right, and now once we have sorry, I have to do the sync part. I was going to the next thing. Okay, so let's create the sync. So now we want to copy this in the authors table, so we'll say Azure, it's on Azure SQL database. Let's go there, continue, and so this is ds underscore Azure SQL authors table, and let's, this is the link service we'll use, and the table name is authors. Right, so let's go, where is my authors? Right, okay, so authors, right, click OK. Right, now here we have to, it's very important, we need to use an upsert. That's what we want to do. We want to do an upsert, that's why we'll choose that option. And whenever you use an upsert, you need to give it a key column on which it will compare. So you do a new here and give the column name. So it's, in our case, is authors ID, right? So we'll do author ID, right? And that's we need to do in the sync part. That's the copied activity. Now once we have copied, what we want to do is we want to update the old watermark with the new watermark. So basically we want to update with our watermark column table, so that we know what till what we have copied. So for that there is a stored procedure I have written, basically not I have written, I just got it from internet. So this is the watermark stored procedure I'll show. This is the basic stored procedure, very simple. It just gets last modified date, and that is what we have, and the table name, so, and it updates the watermark column. So let's do this. Let's run use this in our ADF. So let's go to ADF and let's create an activity which is the stored procedure, right? So we'll use stored procedure activity. Let's, right, and right, let's connect this here, and in here let's go to the stored procedure and we'll say update watermark, right, and let's go to settings, and link service that we want to use is the Azure SQL DB, right, and the stored procedure we want to use is right watermark. Okay, and okay, so now we need to give the parameter values. Okay, it's not come up, let's click on import, it will import. Okay, so last modified date time has to be string. Okay, so the value what we want to give is in this we want to give what we had got, the new watermark, right? So we'll just say add dynamic content and we'll say new watermark first row dot new, sorry, new WM, right? So that's all we need to give here. Click on OK, and this value will right now we're just going to do static, so we'll say authors, right? So this is just what we do, authors table, right? That's all we need to do. I think so we are done with our pipeline. Let's run, see how it goes. So let's run it. Okay, let's publish it first so that everything goes saved. Right, okay, so let's run it. Right, now the pipeline has run, so it's all succeeded. So let's go and see our data now. So let's go here, the destination, that's this one. So let's see if we have got all the table, all the rows. So we'll say select star from authors. So if you see now we have got all the 23 rows that are there, and also what we'll just check the watermark table. So let's say, okay, so we'll select star from watermark table. So if you see the, for the author, the watermark column value is the latest modified date in the source. So this is what we have updated now. Now it will start copying everything going forward from this, right, from this date to next maximum modified date. So let's now update one row in the source and insert and see how this works. Okay, so let's go and update it here. Where is my source? Here it is. Okay, so let's go in here. Let's select some rows and see what we can. Okay, so let's update. Say we want to update this John to Johnson. So this last name is also John, already Johnson. So let's name the first name as well as sorry, last name is John. So we'll make it Johnson. So they become same. And this is the row that we are going to update. So let's update this row and let's update, right? And then let's insert. Let's select star from authors. Let me just select another sound. So let's insert. So let's insert into, say, authors, right? Okay, sorry. Okay, so we'll say AUID. Okay, so now I'm going to insert these values. I've just written the insert statement, so let's insert this values in here. Okay. Okay, so it needs a contract as well, so let's say everything that I thought it contract. Okay, I think so. We'll just put it here, modify date 1 comma. Okay, so let's run this again. Right, so we inserted now one more row, so let's quickly run this command. Okay, right, so now we should have 24 rows. Yeah, we have 24 rows. And so we changed this. We did two changes. We updated this and also added this row. So that's two things we have done. So now the modified date is latest is 7:49. So now let's run the pipeline and see how it works. So let's go here and just debug it again. Okay, the pipeline is now done. It's completed and it's updated. So let's go and check the data. So let's go and check. So this is our destination. Let's see. Right, so let's run select star from authors. So now if you see, this has changed to Johnson and this is test. Now if we again, this has got all the data. Now it's got 24 rows, right? And if we go and check now the watermark table, so this is the latest watermark value for this authors, right? So that's how we can do it for a single table. As how is this is the basic technique of watermark table and the upsert to incrementally copy data from your on-premises to the Azure database. And now we will move on to do it for multiple table, all the three tables together using dynamic parameters. So let's first see what all we want to parameterize. So what I'll show you for this, what we need is, sorry, for this what we have done is there is a table called, okay, so there is another table we have created which is the metadata table. So this is the metadata table. You could have this in a file also, or as a JSON file, or you could store it as a table. So I've stored it as a table. So if I what it has is the table names and the watermark columns, because you might have a different watermark column or a modified date name of the column, which is which is being used to store the modified date in your table. So I have three columns. Like in employee, it is called modify underscore date, so we'll store that value. And the merge key, is the primary key on which we are doing upsert, so as it is different on each table, so we'll store that as well. So now we'll quickly go into our pipeline, okay, and see what all we will need to parameterize. The first thing is we'll have to get this value from the metadata. So we'll have to get these three values from the metadata table, and then we'll have to run the entire pipeline 3 times. So we'll put it in a for loop and run it 3 times using those values. Now what all we'll parameterize here, so in the old watermark, so we want the table name here to be dynamic, right? So that's one thing we'll parameterize. The second thing, in the new watermark, again we want the new watermark, again the table name has to be parameterized. That's the next thing we'll parameterize. The other thing we'll parameterize is again in this one. If I just go in here, we'll because this is again static, so we'll change this to be dynamic. So we want this to be coming from the metadata, so this is what we'll change. Rest all will remain same, right? And the next thing we need to parameterize, let's go, is in the stored procedure. If I go here, and sorry, in the sync as well. So in the sync we want to copy the data to different tables. Right now we are copying to authors because this our data set is basically for one, it is connecting to one table, right? So we want to parameterize our data set as well, even the sync and the source. I forgot about the source. Even the source, because it is right now pointing to one table, so we need to change that as well. So we need to parameterize these two data sets as well, and within that data set these queries as well, right? This query and then we need to parameterize the stored procedure as well. So we want to don't want to use this fixed table name, we want to use the different table name every time. So that's what we want to do. So this is what I'm going to show how it is done, and we'll use the metadata driven pipeline. This is what is called a metadata driven pipeline. So let's jump into that. Okay, so let's I'm in data factory now. Let's start building our pipeline. So let me clone this, so we can just keep it as reference so we know what we are parameterizing. So I've cloned this and we'll say, okay, so incremented load all tables, right? So let's do that. Rename this. Okay, so I'll just keep it here. I'll just disable all of these activities, so I'll just deactivate them, right? Right, let's deactivate. So we just have them as reference, and then we can go back and see what we have parameterized and not correct, or if it's right or not. Okay, so let's me move all these little bit here. Okay, yeah, let's just move it around here. Okay, so now the first thing we want to do is get the metadata, basically get all the tables and all the values from the metadata table. So here again we'll use the lookup activity. So let's use the lookup, right? So, and let's call it get metadata, right? And in the settings, what I'm going to do is create a new data set, because this is we have not created earlier. So my metadata table is on Azure SQL, so we'll say Azure SQL database, right? And say continue, and we'll say data set metadata, right? And let's say Azure, right? So that's clear for us, and we'll use the link service, and the table name is metadata, right? Okay, here is the table, right? So click OK. Right, so we'll get all the data from this, so we'll not use first row here only, so we want the entire table, right? So we want all the contents. So this is what, and you can, if you don't want all the contents, if you want to ignore some tables, you could write the query to get the data. So that's the get metadata activity, the first step. Now we want to do a for loop. Basically for each of the values that it fetches, we want to run all the activities that we had earlier, all these. So we'll do copy them later. So first we'll create the for loop now. So we'll do that, say for, right? So this is a for loop. So basically to catch this, so for each, let's say for each table, right? So each table, right? So let's do that, and let's connect this to this one, right? And for each, right? Okay, sorry, I've come in here, let me go back, right? I guess confused. Okay, so yeah, so that's what we want for each, right? So this is a for each table. So what I usually do is I'll create a basically a new activity within in this loop, which I will call a wait activity, so that we can know if the loop is working fine, and we'll just quickly add this activity. That's what I like to do. So we'll just edit this activity, and yeah, so basically it'll come in here, it's a wait activity. It just waits for 1 second and does the next thing. So we'll go back to here. Okay, and the for loop, one more thing you need to just be careful in the settings of the for loop, I am on the settings. If you select this for loop, it is I am on the settings. So you have to make it sequentially, otherwise it will try and run things parallelly, which we don't want. We want to do one table at a time. So this is we'll do this has to be sequential. Okay, and in here you need to give the what is the for loop run on, basically for each what, like, right. So for we want to run for each table name here. So what you need to do is add the dynamic content and the output of the metadata, right. So we want output of metadata dot value, right. So click OK. So what I'll do is I'll anyway just debug. Let's move this and we'll debug till here only. So I'll only run the lookup so we know what output we are getting and in what form it is, so that when you are using for the each of the in the for loop, then you can get an idea. So let's run this. What we are doing. So let's run this. Right, so this get metadata has succeeded. So let's see the output. Let me maximize this. So it is returning an array, basically an array. So it has a count, and these are the values, right. So for each of these values, so the values is one, there are three values which is returned. For each of these value we want to run the for loop. That's why if I go back, if I close this, in the for loop, if I go here, so we have given in the items output dot value. That's what we have given. So that's how you want to run your three times. You want to run it three times. So that's why we given output dot value in this iterator. So we'll just click OK. Now we'll just remove this and right, debug until, and let's run this. Okay, so let's run this and see if our our for loop runs three times. Okay, sorry, I have to debug. Okay, let's debug. Let's minimize this so that you can see a little more. Right, so get data. Yeah, so this, so if you see the for loop is running now. Let me maximize a little bit. So let's refresh. Right, so if you see it, the wait has succeeded three times. It ran three times, 1 2 3. So it's run three times. So that's what I wanted to check. So this our for loop is working fine. So let's go in here and in the activities, edit it, right, and we'll remove the wait part. Just let's delete, and what we'll do is we'll just go back to our pipeline. So we'll just get the old watermark, copy this and go in the activities and put it here, right. So we got old watermark. So we'll just rename this and let's delete the old one from here. No, so let's, okay, I think so we can delete it later. So we can have, right, in the settings. Now the main thing is in the settings. So now we wanted to parameterize this, right. So this is my Azure watermark data set. So in this, what we need to do, we need to select okay, so this table name is what we want to parameterize. So whatever we are getting, so I didn't copy my, one second, let me go on thing, do one thing. Okay, right, just give me a minute. Yeah, so we are going to parameterize this query. So I forgot to copy the values from the for loop. So we'll just go back. We run it earlier, so we'll just go back here and the get metadata. So sorry, it's coming here. So in this case, output. So I'll just let me maximize, and what we'll do is I'll just copy to clipboard and keep it so that we can use it when we want. So this is already, just let me copy it here. Shift control. Delete this one. This is the old one which I was working with. So let's do this, control home. So now here what we want is so in the each item, these values are coming as item in the for loop. So we want item dot table name, right. So this is what we want to parameterize it. We want authors, employee and publishers, three things here for the watermark. So let's go back. So what we'll do is, just let me close this. Right, so now we were here in the for loop. Okay, and these settings. So okay, in the settings, yeah, in the activities, I have to edit that one. So let's do old watermark. So let's go back, and let's see. So this is the watermark. So let's go back. So now we were here in the for loop. Okay, and these settings. So okay, in the settings, yeah, in the activities, I have to edit that one. So let's do old watermark. So let's right? And I'll edit this. So I have to add dynamic content, so I'll just select this here and go to dynamic content, add dynamic content. Okay, so right, this is where is it come, right? Okay, so let's copy this so that we can control X and say add dynamic content. It comes here and we just do control V, right? So now in here we just watermark value from the watermark table, and the table name here we want is for each, for the current item, for each dot. So we'll say item, I think so, item dot, and if I go here, what I want is table underscore name, right? So I'll just go back here and say table, I think it's table, yeah, table underscore name, right? That's what it is. And we don't want this here, so we'll just say click OK, right? So this will use the same data set. Now we have parameterized the we wanted to parameterize just the table name that we want to write. Okay, so that's the old watermark. So let's do the new watermark. Okay, so let's copy the new watermark from here. Okay, and we'll just delete this one so it doesn't cause confusion. Delete this. I'll just copy this, Control C, and let's go back to our for loop, which is here, and activities, and edit here, and we'll add a new activity. So we'll just say, or we'll just we'll paste the one we got. Now in this we'll just say new watermark, right? So in this, what we want in the settings right now, this is just one on-prem authors table, which is our source table. So what I'll do is I'll create a new data set which we can use in the copy activity as well, and parameterize it because we want different table names here. I'll parameterize the data set. So we'll create a new data set, or we can edit this one. Let's try editing this. We can do this. So yeah, and I think so, right? I don't, okay, yeah. So what we can do is go in here, create two, we need, what is this is parameter, we are parameterizing the data set. So in the data set, what we want is the destination table. So we'll just say a parameter called destination. We are creating a parameter for the data set which is called destination table, right? And if I go to my, that is what I want, that is a value of string, and we will provide this value from the for loop so that we can connect to different tables each time. So let's go to connection, and now we want to click that and enter manually, right? So we just say, right, okay, so we leave this here, and yeah, so we just do add dynamic, we don't want the schema name, we just want the table name to be here, and add dynamic content. Also my destination spelling is wrong, so I'll just fix this first, then otherwise it will be confusion. So go in here, let's write it destination table, right? So if I go to connection now here in this table name, so this is the variable, which you had created. This is what we want to be assigned dynamically for the data set. So we'll just delete this one, right, and say destination table, right? That's it. So now we have parameterized the data set as well. So this is called authors. Let's rename it. Can I rename it? I do not, I'm not sure, but let's go back, right, and if I doesn't let me rename it, so we leave it as authors and we'll assume that it's basically for the destination data set. So that's it. Now we now want to edit the query. So what we wanted to do was, let's go into dynamic content. So now what we want is, let me capture this so that it doesn't, I don't lose it, right? And okay, so now, right, so what we want is select max modifiers as new order from the table. Here it is, will come for item dot table name again, right? So this is item dot table name, right? Okay, so click OK. That's the new watermark. right? And in the value here for our destination table, so now we are writing for each table we are doing, so we want to give in here, right, that is table name as item dot table name as well. So this is item dot table name for the this is for the data set, so it connects to that table, right? So item dot table name, because we are getting the max value from that table, so that's why we want to parameterize the data set as well. So that's what we'll do is item okay, so it's sorry, I just copy this, that's mistake here, let me do this dot table, I should write table name, right? And let's remove this, click OK. So that's basically for the new watermark. So let's do one thing, I'll enable activate this one, activate this, and let me delete the new watermark from here. Okay, this is my outside the for loop, let me delete this one. Okay, so we are building the pipeline slowly. So what we can do is we'll just run it now and see what values we are getting, right? Before we go any further, right? So let's, or it's working fine or not, because yeah, that's fine. Let's do this right now. Let's see, it's running for all the value, all the so let's debug this. Okay, let's run this and see what it's doing. Are we getting any errors? Right, my pipeline has failed, and let's have a quickly look at this. Is not getting the watermark value, saying let's look at the input, right? Okay, so it's saying it cannot find item dot table name, so I think so I made a mistake, so let's fix that quickly. Again, let's go to activities here. That at I removed, I think that is needed, so let's I always get confused, so let's fix this. So let's yeah, so this has to be at item name, right? And I click OK, right? And even in this one, yep, so in this one let's, yeah, so in here it has to be at item name, right? Okay, click OK here, and let's do this one as well, right? So from, okay, yeah, and item name dot, right, table name. Okay, click OK, right? Let's run it again and see if it works. Hopefully it should. Let's run it again, let's debug. Okay, and let's see. Yeah, it failed again, and it's giving me the same error. So item, so because if you look at it now, it's select modify data as new from item dot table name, so something is wrong there. Let me go and check my other pipeline which I had created earlier. So let's quickly check here. So if I look at here, and if I go in, this looks okay. So okay, item dot the new watermark, add item dot table name. So let's do one thing, let's copy this into our notepad, I think so. This okay, max at item, oh okay, and even I didn't parameterize, so let's copy this, the entire thing. So this is for the new watermark, so let's copy this and click OK. So let's got it here for the new watermarks. So for each loop, if I go activities, and in here if I go in the new watermark and see, this is fine. So if I, let's see what we have done wrong. So let's see. Okay, right, yeah, so yeah, because we wanted to yeah, that column name can be different, so that's why we wanted to parameterize this. So let's copy this and use this. Okay, let's delete this, everything else is seems okay. So let's delete this and use this here, and even my old watermark is not working, and let's go and see in this one what we have done. Okay, so my old watermark, and here, right? So yeah, so I think so this is the thing which you need to give quotes around the table name. So let's do this, copy this and see if it works. Right, control C and click OK. Let's okay, and not here. So this is not the one I want. Okay, it failed, that's why it's giving that one, right? So in the old watermark, if I go in here, query, and so let's just paste it here and see. Okay, from old as old watermark, right? Okay, so that's only the code is a different. Delete this, and click OK. Let's debug once more and see what happens, right? So okay, yeah, small mistakes like this. Let's debug once more. Yeah, now it's working fine. So there was some small mistake, like the quotes was missing, and even I not got the max parameterized the max table name, so that's why this was failing. Now it's working fine. So now let's move ahead, and then I will also recommend you to do your any pipeline you do in steps, so that you know you can fix the errors at a smaller stage rather than scratching your head when you are at a I've built everything, added a lot of steps, and it's difficult. So let's go into the next activities here, edit there. So let's copy the, we want to do the copy activity, so let's copy. So next step is to copy. So now let's go here and just maximize, move them around, and let's get that here, copy. Okay, so we'll say copy authors, or we'll say copy, yeah, copy all tables, right? And let's get this point here, let's add it to here and this to there. So let's go into copy activity and let's see what all we have to we had to parameterize, right? So let's go into the source, right? So we have renamed this, so destination, okay, this is saying destination. Okay, so we had parameterized these. Okay, so what we'll have to do is, right, okay, so what we'll have to do is we'll have to create a new data set for the source, and we'll use this one, the on-prem authors one, for the destination. So what we'll do is we'll create a new source, data source. Let's do this. Okay, so let's do this. And anyway, what I'll do is before I go there, I'll just copy this query, so because we want to use the same query that is there. So let me just cancel this. Okay, one second. To cancel this, I'll have to just minimize a little bit, cancel this and come back, right? So I'll just copy this so that we can, right? Okay, so let's copy this and keep it in notepad so we can use it again, right? Okay, control V, right? So let's go back, right? Okay, so let's create a new data set. So we'll just call right, yeah, so we'll just call it destination. So this is a Azure SQL database because we want to copy there. So Azure SQL, right, continue, and data set Azure SQL, let's say all destination, right? The link service is this, right? And now table name will say, yeah, so we'll just leave the table name right now because we want to do it dynamically. We want to give different table name for the destination. Sorry, we'll call it, sorry, source. We'll use the other one as authors one as destination. Right, so one second, I'm just thinking the author ones we connected to the, yeah, let's cancel this. Yeah, I think so we can use that. Because I am doing it a different way today, so just cancel this. Oh, sorry, discard the changes, discard, right? So yeah, see the authors, we just edit it. Let's open it. I think so it connects to, yeah, the link service is on-prem, so it's connecting the source and we're calling it a destination. So okay, that will confuse us, so let's do one thing. Let's edit it, right? And not this one, not that one I wanted, right? cancel this. Right. So because what we have done is we named it the destination table. So this is the on-prem one, right? The data set. So we'll call it source, and let's go here parameters, right? So let's make this as source table, right, rather than source table, right? And that's all we want to do in this one. And if I go in here, we were using it, that authors one is the watermark, and in this one we used it, right? Yeah, so this is fine. So this is the DS authors, because this is we are getting from the on-prem, that's why it's a source, so that's fine, we can use the author ones. And this is the source table, again it's picked up the table name, that's all is fine. I just wanted to cross check, this looks fine now. So let's go here in the copy, this is our source, so the value here we want is again, right, for item dot table name, right, for each table underscore name, right, that's all we want. Click OK. Let's cross check the query. So right, so select star from authors, instead of authors we want the table for the current table item dot table name, right. Select star from I think so there, yeah, we'll cross check where modified date is between the old watermark, right. So this is again same activities, so same thing we have done. So only thing is we are selecting the data from a new table which is coming in the for loop each time. So that's what we are doing here, that's the our source. And okay, click OK. I just okay, I click OK. I just wanted to cross check, do we need an add here, because I'll always forget. So let's quickly check the old one here. I think the source, yeah, so yeah, it needs an I, yeah, so if you look at it, it needs an add here. So yeah, we'll just put that, otherwise we'll be in a loop. Okay, yeah, so let's copy this from here and use this, right, control C, click OK. Let's come here, so let's the working one source, yeah, so here, yes. Okay, so again the other thing I forgot to mention, we wanted to we'll have to parameterize. Let me just do this now. Is if I go in here, so yeah, the modified date. So if I showed you in my in the metadata the modified date columns for other ones. Let me go back. Okay, so just to be clarify what I'm trying. Okay, so if I look at this, the watermark column is not modified date all the time, so it's different. So it's modified date, modify underscore date for this one. So we want to use that dynamically, so we have to give that in our source, right. So let's go back. So yeah, so from this yeah, this has to be item at the rate item. Okay, so yeah, so we can, yeah, item, okay, item dot table name where modified date between, right. So this is what it is, the same thing. So old watermark, okay, yeah, that's fine, that's fine. Okay, so we'll just delete this. So rest all looks, so select star from item dot not table name, this has to be yeah, select star from table with modified date. So this has to be watermark column, right. So this has to be watermark column. So where we want add item dot let's put it like that, at item, that is for the right, in the for each loop. So item dot, and if you look here, let's go here. So we have this watermark column, so this is what the values we got from the metadata table, right. So that's what we want to use. So we want to use as item dot column name. So let's copy that, watermark column name, right. So that's what's watermark column, right. This is what we want to use, right. That's between this and this. So let's delete this one we copied, delete this, right. So this is that. Okay, click OK. That looks fine. Now the sync, right? So in the sync, what all we want to right, so for the sync, what we'll do is we'll not use the sync dataset as authors, because this is our on-prem one. So we'll create a new dataset, right? And we'll call this is for Azure SQL, right? Click OK, continue, and we'll call it dataset ts on no, sorry, Azure SQL all tables, right? And the link service we already have. Click OK, and we'll leave this because we want to parameterize the table name on the table which we want to copy. So click OK, we will click OK. Now this table is dataset is created. Now we open this and we'll create a parameter like we did for the source, and we'll just call it new destination table, right? And okay, and the connection, right? Let's do the connection table. So we say enter manually, and the table name add dynamic content, we want to be at destination table, right? So that's all. We have parameterized the dataset now. So it will use this parameter to connect to the table that we want. So let's go back here, right? This is one done. So we were here, right? Okay, so we are back here. So here the sync is Azure all tables that we right now created, and in this the value we want is again the table name, because for each loop whatever the table name we are getting, so that's what we want. So we'll just say for item dot table name, right? Table underscore name, right? That's it. Click OK. Right, now we want to do an upsert, and you want to do this. Now this column name here has to be the column name that we are getting from the metadata, from the metadata into the for loop. So in that it is called a merge key, right? So this is what we want, merge key. So that is what we will give here. So let's go here and delete. Okay, so let's add dynamic content here, and for each item, and this has to be watermark column, right? So that's the not was it watermark column? No, let's go back, I forgot. It's called merge key, right? So let's copy this merge key, right? Control C, and let's put it here, merge key, Control V. Okay, and that's it. We need to for the destination. So that's all done for the destination. So we'll enable this, activate this, right? Now the final thing is left for us to do is to update the watermark column once the copy is done. So we'll use the stored procedure again. So let's copy that. Let's delete the one we had here. Let's delete this. Let's copy this. Let's do copy this, and we'll come in there, right? Activities, add here. Let's do Control V. Okay, so let's see where did it put it. Here it is. So we want the output of this to be here. Right, now we'll just rename, update watermark, right? So what we want is settings, right? Now this is the last modified time. So this is what we want to update to the, so this will remain the same. So we'll just say here, so if you look at this will remain the same, because we want to put this as a new watermark in the watermark table, right? So this will remain the same, and this is what we want to do, parameterize, so that it updates the right table name in the watermark column. So we can use any of the for each, and we'll say the time table name, right? Table name, yeah, that's it. Click OK, right? So that it updates for the right table for each one, right? That's all it is for the stored procedure. We'll enable that one, activate that one, and let's clean up. We'll delete this from here. Oh, sorry. Let me see. Okay, yeah, there is the stored procedure one somewhere here. Delete this. Right, so yeah, so we have got our built our pipeline, and now before we start, what we'll just clean up the data. So we get, I'll publish this, and then we'll just clean up the data. So it says okay, so let's see what is here. Oh yeah, in the source table. Okay, in the lookup, 1 second, it's saying yeah. So here the source table, yeah, so we didn't add the dynamic content, so here we want the item dot. So okay, 1 second, okay, let me cancel this. I'm just somewhere wrong. Let's go in here. Okay, right. Okay, this I don't know how to okay minimize this thing which is giving me this error. Let me, yeah, so let me close this. Yeah, I can do it like that. Sorry. Okay, so here we just add dynamic new watermark, right? So right, okay, variables, why it is giving me source table. Okay, right, it should give me the iterator value because we are in the, let me go minimize this. See, yeah, I was looking at the wrong sorry. Okay, so I was looking at the wrong pipeline, this incremental load that we did for one table, and we have used the same data set. That's why it was confused, and it was not so it's not publishing that one. So what we'll do is we'll just in this pipeline we'll just deactivate this one. So I hope it will let me publish it now again. Right, it's on the other one. So let me do one thing, I'll just delete this pipeline. I don't want it anymore, so let me delete it, otherwise it'll keep giving me this error. Right, so let me delete it, click OK, and let's just publish this. Okay, so on-prem authors is not okay. Destination table is not found. Okay, so on-prem, oh okay, so it's still confused. I put it in source. Okay, right, give me a minute, I'll just fix this one. Yeah, so let's go from here and see what it is doing. On-prem authors, right? So this is my destination. Oh, okay, still it has this destination table, so that's why it is giving this error. So delete this and we just add, and even though we fixed it there, so this is source table, right? So this is okay. Right, let's go back to the pipeline. So this is from the data set. I've gone from the data set. So if you have this, right, so this is the data set. So I've gone from there and checked. So it was still using destination table. That's why it was confused. So let's go back here and quickly cross check. Yeah, so let's now, yeah, it says fixed now. So let's publish, right? Okay, let's publish. Oh, that's one. Okay. Okay, so now let's quickly check the data. So let's go. Okay, so this is our destination. So right, so we have data, no data in the employee and publisher tables, and we have data in these tables, in the authors table, and the modified date is this, and the watermark, let's quickly check what is in our watermark. Okay, let's, so right, so this is our watermark table which has this value, and employees and publishers has 24th of Jan, so that should work. It should not copy any data for authors because we have not done anything, and it should copy only data for employee and publishers. That's and let's quickly check in the source. Let's quickly check, right? So we get modified dates as well. Oh, sorry, I put it in a new query, sorry for that. Okay, let's see. So yeah, the modified date is what is the watermark value for this authors, and for this one it is 4th or 6th of April, I believe, and the other one is from again 6th of April. So we should copy all these data and not the author one. So let's run this and in our pipeline. Let's go back. So let's quickly check the watermark table. Yeah, so because this is for that is on the 4th of May and it should not copy. So let's run pipeline and see how it goes. Hopefully should run fine. Let's run it. Okay, so I think so. Let me just close this. I don't like that. Okay, just close this. Right, and maximize again. Right, okay, so let's minimize this. I'm just thinking what's not cleaned up. Okay, so this is just here, so let's move it here, so it looks beautiful. Okay, let's run it now finally. Okay. Okay, my pipeline has failed after so much hard work. Anyway, so let's have a look what is why the error is, and I'll let you know why it is. So it's saying unexpected object type. So now if I go in here into my pipeline and go into my activities, and let me edit this one. So yeah, I know what mistake I made. So if I go into the key columns, so the key columns is array types. Now we have just given it one value, it is not an array type, a string, that's why it is giving an error. So we need to give an array because your keys can be composite keys. So if you have multiple keys for one table, like on a author ID and publisher ID, so then this will not work. That's why we need to give array. So I will copy that because it's little complicated, not very complicated, but it's simple to just copy that code. So we'll just use that code from here. I'll just copy it and in the sync. So let's, it is, yeah, so I'll just explain the code as well. So basically what it's doing is converting this merge, we are splitting the items in merge key whatever there are, and converting them into an array. So that's what we basically are doing, so that it so that we, if we have multiple keys, sorry, multiple column as primary keys, then it works. So let's copy this, click OK, and let's go in here and fix this issue. Right, so this we just don't want merge key, so it's the same. So basically we're converting to array all if we have multiple columns for the merge key. So click OK and let's run it again. Yeah, the pipeline is now completed, is succeeded now. So let's go and see our data. Okay, okay, so let's go in here, let's see. Right, that's clear. So we have data in the employee and authors, employee and publisher table as well. So if you see that, it's copied all the data, and it is not copied any data in this authors, it's still the same. And now if I look at the watermark table, so right, so it's updated to the maximum max date that we had. So for employee and publisher we have 6th April, and authors we had today's date. So that's what it is done. So that now our pipeline is working fine and is ready to go. That's all for today, and hope you had a good time. You learned something. And if you have any questions, concerns, any questions that you have, just put in comments, and all the feedback is welcome. That will help me improve and make more videos that will encourage me. So till next time, have a good day. Bye.